Hi guys, today I have another layout for you. It's a 12 by 12 layout, and this is the first layout that I'm making with, I believe it is the October Scraptastic kit from 2014, and I hadn't broken into this kit yet. I really love the colors in these collections, so I was really excited to use this, and like I said, I just hadn't used it. Went with my December kit or my January kit last. So I'm breaking this one in, and so here what I'm doing is I'm cutting this paper, and I wanted to use this color as a background, and I forgot, so I ended up trimming up the edge of that because I was going to map my photo on it, but it's okay, I'll fix that later with a little bit of tape. So here I'm just matting my photo, and this is the cardstock that came in the kit, and I think this video does have quite a bit of kitty cat action, so he's going to come and go, but that's nothing new with my videos. So here I'm just taping it up, and this is how I repair it, and then when you put it back together you never really even notice that I did cut it on accident. So I'm going to be using, I'm going to look at this one triangular background, and that's what I was intending to use at the beginning, but I'm going to actually end up using this multicolored stripe background. And I just really think that a lot of the layers in the paper collection and everything really pop on this paper. So I'm really glad that I chose this one instead of going with the triangular one that I was going to go before. And I do like how the lighter cardstock background really brings your eye into the page. So here I'm just going to be using one of the templates that I have. It is going to be one of the triangle templates, and this one is from Studio Calico. I do like the look of this template, however I don't really like the thickness of the template. I typically like my, I guess it's a stencil, not really a template, but I like my stencils to be a little bit thinner, so I'm not using so much modeling paste. And the Studio Calico ones, at least the ones I have, seem to be kind of thick, and you end up having a pretty raised surface. But that's okay, I still like the look. So here I'm just taking my modeling paste and my, what is it called, Distress ink, and I'm just coloring that Distress ink to match kind of what the background and the colors that I have in there, just to kind of have the same tonal look to them. And I can't remember the color that I use. It'll probably come to me later on, maybe. If I remember, I'll let you guys know. If you need to know and I don't remember to tell you by the end of the video, just send me a message or put a comment down below and I'll look that color up. Oh, that drives me crazy when I can't think of the color. I knew it. It's on the tip of my tongue. So here I'm just adding the amount of modeling paste that I want, and I wanted a little bit more, so I ended up drying the layout just a little bit so that I could put the stuff on it, and because I want to add a little bit more layers, so I dried it up just a little bit so I can add a little more layers without messing up what I already put down. And I think you've probably heard this before, but you want to make sure that you clean off all your stuff that has a modeling paste on it because it dries like concrete really quickly. So here I'm just going to be drying up the area, and I had a little extra modeling paste in some places I didn't want it, so I'm just using my little palette knife to scrape some of that extra off. And since I didn't use a ton of this in just two little places, it doesn't warp the page too much, but fixing it to the background paper really helps a lot with the warping and things like that. So I really like how this turned out. I like the texture that the triangles give, and just kind of breaks up the colors in that background, and it brings the yellow that's at the top of the paper down to the bottom right hand corner. So here I'm going to end up using that triangle paper anyway. I'm just going to use it as one of the layering elements on the page. And I'm going to cut that down, and then it's going to be just a little bit too big, and I'm going to trim it up just a little bit. I thought it was covering up some of the modeling paste, or more of the modeling paste than I wanted. So I just trimmed that down just a slight bit more. And here I'm thinking about cutting out the flowers on that paper, but I end up actually not using that paper, I don't believe. I'm going to stick with some of the other papers in the collection. Here is one of the cut apart that are in the kit, that one square on the left. And here are some other pieces that I picked out at the very beginning. I just put them in that little tray. And so a lot of these are the cut aparts and some of the die cuts that came in the kit. That little multicolored piece is a die cut. These are some of the labels that came in the kit. I believe those are all the cut aparts. Some of these are cut aparts, and then some of these are just ones that are already die cut for you in the beginning. And we got a lot of these frames, and I ended up breaking up the little frames and using all the little pieces of it. And I used that green frame in the upper left hand corner, and then I'm trying to use that orange one, but it's just not going to work. And so is this green one that I'm messing with right now. So for that colored little multicolored piece, I'm going to end up trimming it in half so I can put a little bit in the top left and a little bit in the bottom. So I'm just going to add that, and I like how it brings the colors of that striped background into the cluster area. So here I'm just kind of fiddling with it. I want to make sure that one always die cut has some other wording on it, and I want to make sure that's not covered up by the other layers. And so I'm going to add some of these acetate words. That smile is going to go on the top left, and then I'm going to use that paper clip and a piece of flare. So here I'm just adding a little bit of dimension to the end of the flag so it doesn't lay so flat on the page. And then I'm trying to take off the coating that's on the smile, but I actually don't think there was any coating. You never know. Sometimes it's really hard to tell if there's a coating on those words. So here I'm just going to start putting my layers down. They're moving a lot on me, and I just want to get them down so they don't keep moving, because I'm terrible about remembering where I had them, so I just kind of want them to be stuck down. And then if I don't stick them all the way down, I can always move them up a little bit if I need to. So here I'm going to use this ATG tape, and I'm going to add on the rainbow paper, and I was having a little bit of problem with my tape, but I finally got it to work. So here I'm just sticking that down, and then I'm going to keep working around the page until I get all my little pieces glued down. Again, that label that I had from the collection, and then that frame, that one's going to go down as well. And I kind of had the label tucked inside the frame just to give it a little extra so you can see a little bit more of the green of the label to bring that green color up to the top left of the layout. And so I'm gluing this down. Normally what I do if I have a lot of modeling paste, I'll use some, what is it called? Hot glue, but because the modeling paste doesn't go over the whole area and I can get it stuck down a little bit without doing that, I end up using just my ATG. And here, because it's acetate and I don't want to see the adhesive, I'm just stapling down with my tiny attacher. And usually anytime I staple with my tiny attacher, I feel like I need to staple in other places as well. So I just put a couple other staples in around the clusters. Just, I thought I'd like how it brings all the layers together. And so it doesn't feel like I have just staples in the top left. Here I'm going to be using this yellow doily that came in the collection. I felt like it needed a little more in the top left hand section, so I just trimmed that in half and added that. And then I'm adding just a little bit more modeling paste because my layers are covering up some of the modeling paste that I wanted to keep on the page. So I ended up just doing that, and then I'm going to dry it, and I'm just going to put that scissors there to keep the paper from smashing down the modeling paste while it dries up. And then I'm also going to add a little bit of modeling paste to the top left where that banner is, just to bring in some of that. I felt like there was missing some texture up there, so I just added a little bit in there. And I end up just mixing up a little bit more using that Tim Holtz Distress ink. So here I'm going to try to clean that up because I didn't like it there, and then it ended up pulling off the color on the page, so then I end up sticking down a little bit more modeling paste again so you don't notice it as much. So, you know, oh well. It wasn't exactly as clean as I would like it to be, but it worked. So here I'm just using rub-ons from the kit here. I'm going to use that green arrow in the bottom right there where it is now. And then I think I'm going to try to use some more, but I couldn't find any other ones that worked. So here I'm just going to use one of the little tab top things, and I'm going to use my tweezers. Sometimes my big fat fingers get in the way, and I think the tweezers kind of helps me to see the placement a little bit better and get it in there, especially with these little bitty elements. So I'm trying to use up these stickers, especially the Teresa Collins ones. I don't like how this arrow has the flag on the right end, but I end up sticking it down like that anyway, and I think it looks okay like that. And here I think that word might be always, and I think it says happy always, I think is what the tab says. So I'm just trying to get that in. I'm going to fiddle with that just a little bit. The placement, I want it apparently just to be perfect, and it's not ever going to be perfect, so I'm not sure I'm too worried about that. So I'm going to try to use a couple other stickers from the set, and I think I'm going to end up not using anything else. And I'm going to go to adding that rub-on in the bottom right-hand corner now, and I'm just using this little tool that I got. I believe it might be from Basic Gray, and I've had it in my stash for quite some time, and I really like how it works. It's got like a little flat spatula kind of end, and then it's got this little roller ball, kind of embossing ball end, and both work really well to get those rub-ons on. Here I'm going to be using some of the enamel stars from Chickanitty, and I'm just going to kind of use those all over the page. I'm trying to bring the colors up and around the page, so bringing the orange down to the bottom right with the orange star, and then the green up in the top left. And here are some enamel dots from my stash. I'm just using some light yellow enamel dots, and then I'm going to end up using this white enamel dots, and again just to bring some of the color throughout the page. So I think that's just about it. I'm just going to fuss around some little layers just a little bit more, and I think I'm going to call it done, maybe. Oh no, I'm going to put a little bit of mist on my background. I wanted to use some of this Heidi Swap Gold mist, and I'm going to end up spraying it or just dripping it down all over the layout, and I'm going to use that piece of plastic to make sure that I don't get it on my picture. So here's that gold, and it's just the gold Heidi Swap Color Shine. And I'm going to clean up a little bit because I got the color shine everywhere. Normally I put it in a box, but I was being lazy today, so I just ended up doing it there. And I'm going to end up taking that orange ink again and adding some splatters of that to bring that color from the modeling paste all over the page. And I like the darker orange that it gave. Just a little bit more sprinkles, and I did a really fine, so they're little fine dots. And here I'm adding in a title that's called Mom's Day, because this is from my Mother's Day from last year. My daughter gave me that big huge blue card and a little flower that they made at preschool, and it was so nice. The inside of the card was really sweet. It kind of brought a tear to my eye. It was really sweet. So it was nice to get those kind of things. I love when they make those little crafts and stuff. So here I'm just going to glue it down and add it to that background cardstock. And so that kind of helps it lay flat too because of the modeling paste. And the last thing I'm going to do is add the date, and I'm actually going to add the date not where that big huge orange label says date. I'm not sure why, but I ended up putting it on the bottom right hand side by the photo, and I think later on I actually go back in and add it on that date because I felt like that looked kind of silly without having a date. So here I'm just going to show you some close-ups. I actually did this before I put the actual title on, so you're going to see that the title's not here, but I wanted to make sure I showed you putting that title on, and those title stickers were from Chicken Nitty. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Thank you to all my subscribers and all my new subscribers. I'm having a great time, and I hope you're enjoying my videos. I guess I will talk to you guys soon. Thanks. Bye.